hill that I will die on is that software teams exist within a business as a risk control function, not as a creative function. Hi, my name is Fractional Matt. I help non-technology people build technology businesses. If that's of interest to you, then please do give me a follow. So if you're a non-technology person building a technology business, you need to understand the role that software development plays within a business. And this is generally not well understood. People think about software development as a creative function. It is not as a risk control function. I say that for two reasons. Software absolutely has to have a level of information security and business continuity hygiene within it, so the business is not exposed to risk. Software that is out there with bugs in it and flaws open to hackers or information leakage, exposing the business to malware or regulatory fines, is useless. It is actively harming the business and should not exist. Software that's out there and is unable to be, that is not agile enough to adapt to the needs of the business, both in terms of kind of where the business needs to go in new partnerships or new initiatives, or be able to kind of change itself in order to deliver a changing, an evolving program of value to the customer base, also shouldn't exist. But people think of it as a creative discipline. They think actually there's a bunch of people in a room who are out there banging software out and they're creating something. Yeah, they are creating something, but what they're creating for the business is they're creating, it's not even fair to say it's creating a foundation, because that process is continually ongoing. Software has to change, and software does change, but it has to change in a way that it keeps the business safe. And that's why we have to call it a risk control function, is because anything that gets done, any software that's emitted from that team, has to keep the business safe on a continual basis. And that can only be done from the perspective of that software team understanding the amount of damage that can be done to the business by doing its job badly. And that means top to bottom, left to right, everything about how that software team is managed in terms of how they're instructed, how their outputs are tested, how their outputs run, has to be done in a way where the risk control footprint is paramount.